So the question is, if I had to summarize UK property investment in as few steps as possible, which ones would those be? Let's have a look. If I had to summarize property investment in as few process blocks as possible, I would say I would give you 7 different steps or processes. The first one is that you need to clarify your vision around your why. Now, whoever tells you that investing in property, especially in UK property, is easy, is lying at you, because it's not easy at all, not even the simplest of the strategies. And that's something that you need to bear in. I would like to be very transparent with this, and I would tell my followers and when we do seminars about the horror stories that we've gone through. And I do that not to try to scare you, but to show you the reality of what you're getting into. And when I say the first step is to clarify your vision, where you want to get to, and your why, is because that's going to be the fuel that you need to go through all those difficulties I'm talking about. Think about what's the number that you want to achieve, and think about what's the number you're starting from, because by having A and having B, then you know how much work you'll need to do. You need to be very conscious of at which stage you are in terms of your investment journey, because it's not easy at all. It's not easy to go through every single gate that you need to pass to earn the right to become a successful investor. You will make money, but you'll also lose money, and your mindset needs to be strong and needs to get stronger with every single problem and challenge you find. So that's the very first step, the very first process block that you need to get into. Now, the second process or step is to decide your focus area. The amount of regulations that exist in the UK for property investment, and I'm talking about planning, I'm talking about local council, I'm talking about building regulations, I'm talking about the variations that happen from council to council, and that happen from area to area in terms of different financial models, different rules that you need to know. You need to focus, you need to find, or you need to decide which one is going to be your focus area. And it's very important, because if you decide that your focus area is the whole of England or the whole of UK, you're starting with the wrong foot, because it's going to be so wide and the different regulations are going to change significantly enough for you to potentially get into trouble because you won't know them all. And by focusing in an area which is around 1 hour from the place you live, or even an area which you live far away from, but it's an area with one, maximum 2 different councils, that way will enable you to know that area so well that you will identify each opportunity really quickly, and you'll be able to know the numbers, the prices, and the critical aspects of those deals that you need to take into account to make that project a reality. That's why you need to focus on an area. And as I said, normally a council, an area defined by council boundaries, that's good enough to start with. Don't try to start with a multinational, because the whole weight of the whole thing is just going to collapse your whole project. Step 3 or process 3. Decide your focus strategy. Now, this could be interchanged with step 4, but let's say that you know which strategies are available, and then you decide to go for one of them. The reason why is because each strategy will require that you know very specifics or very information to be able to make that strategy a reality. It's very different, the planning knowledge that you need to do, or you need to know to do a commercial to residential conversion, to the planning that you need to know to create a HMO from a normal house. And even is different the planning and licenses and different bits and pieces that you need to know to do a buy to let. The more complex, the bigger the strategy, even being the most complex, the development of property from the ground up itself will challenge you to the point that you can lose money if you just try to do everything at once. So if you picked your focus area and then you picked your focus strategy, you are on a very good way to make investment in property in the UK a reality. Now, step 4 has to do a lot with this and has to do with everything really. But step 4 is you need to get your foundations right. When you decide on your focused strategy, then you need to go ahead and learn as much as possible about that strategy. You need to know the financial models that describe that strategy, what comes in, what comes out, different stages, all the expenses, all the assumptions, taxes, how everything works to ensure that you can forecast, not 100%, but in a very good level, what takes to do a project like this. And especially in property, when you're looking for a deal, when you're looking for a project, you need to be able to calculate how much money you need from your own pocket to fund the project and how much money you will be able to get from outside to be able to finance that and leverage yourself in the project. And that's very important. If you don't know the financial models, then don't even start looking for a property, because you will waste a lot of time trying to find a deal which you don't know the numbers for. So you need to know those financial models. Also, as I just said, you need to know the planning restrictions. You need to know what that strategy means with the focus area you've chosen and the financial model to see how everything clicks together and for you to be able to do it and to make it a reality. Now, the fifth process or step or block that I would say you need to get in your journey to property investment is that one of getting your marketing right. I always say in my seminars that investing in property, and probably you've heard this as well, is very capital intensive, and everybody, and I mean everybody, sooner than later runs out of capital. So you need to understand how to connect with other people to bring that capital in. But for you to be able to convince those people to bring that capital in, you need to be good enough at the intellectual capital so you can bring that to the equation. Because in this world, there is more capital or more people with capital sitting in a bank account than people who know how to effectively invest that capital and put it to a good use. And that's where the opportunity for you is. If you don't have a lot of capital, a lot of cash, but you have the brains to create this intellectual capital and bring it into the equation. And that's super important. But this marketing is going to be there to connect the investor side with the work that you do, with the opportunities that appear and your skills. If you don't have that block, you're going to know a lot of property, a lot about property and how to invest and all the planning, all the relations, but it will be theory because you won't be able to apply it. You won't be able to use it to generate capital gains and income tax. The sixth channel that you need to understand is to establish your property search channels, either for your own use or for the use of other people. You need to understand where and how in that focus area, for that focused strategy, having the foundations and having the investors, how then you go and locate those opportunities which, when they are good, there is a lot of competition in the market. Our experience in investing in the UK is that when one good property appears and that good opportunity will allow to create capital gains and has good potential, then it's like a blink of a light bulb. It appears and disappears. It comes into the market and then disappears. And when I say it comes into the market, many times doesn't even make it to the open market. It just, somebody knows somebody and they will tell you, I'm selling this property. That was great. I like it. Doesn't even appear in the radar. And that's why you need to know and create these search channels for you to be able to connect all the moving parts of this machine I'm describing today. Now, the seventh block, which is something to do not with property itself, but with any business and with any goal that you have, and is massively important, is to, once you have this machine identified and you have these channels and this process running and mapped out, is that you need to execute consistently. And if you combine this with a simple but powerful strategy, as I just mentioned, focus area, focus strategy, get your foundations, focus marketing as well, it applies for that. And you execute that consistently with patience, discipline consistently. And then you start building processes and delegate those processes and create a team and train that team so you can focus more and more and more on the critical aspects of this machine I'm describing. Then at that point, you start creating a rhythm. You start creating a process by which you will generate results. But to execute consistently, and this connects to the first step or block I mentioned, you need to have clarity as to your why and your vision. And a reason why could be your family. Actually, family is one for many of us that will give you that thrust, that force, that fuel to go through all the problems you're going to find, which you're going to face. Because believe me, if something you're going to find during this journey is problems, and in property, you will pay with money any mistakes you make every single time. So that's why it's so important that you understand and put these steps in place. So remember, first, create your vision around your why. Second, decide your focus area. Third, decide your focus strategy. Fourth, get your foundations right and get a mentor. Don't just focus on these sort of YouTube videos and AI. A mentor will be never replaced by AI, for example. Fifth, you need to become an expert at marketing and get it right. Six, establish your property search channels and get extremely good at finding those deals and turning them around quickly. And last but not least, execute consistently and with discipline so you can get this machine running. This machine stop when you stop, and therefore you need to have this why very clear and execute daily. This is Noel Cardona, and if you want more information about what we do, go to propertycashflow.co.uk. If you have properties in Liverpool or Wirral that you want managed, please contact us at info@propertycashflow.co.uk. Or if you want to invest in those areas, those are my focus areas. I know them really well. I know how they work, and I know everything that needs to be known about investing in those areas. So give me a call, 07411 904 124, or send us an email. I'll be happy to have a conversation with you. Bye-bye.